The valley of Monzón, inhabited from a certain time by the Garapachos and Quilcanos, had for bordering original towns like the Tuiticanos and Tecpis. Particularly, they were producers of the very precious coca. The district of Monzón, Peru, is located in the province of Huallaga, in the department of Huancayo. The distance that unites Monzón with the capital of the province of Huallaga is 340 kilometers approximately. It is also 70 kilometers from the city of Tingo Maria, capital of the province of Leoncio Prado. The district of Monzón itself has been known as a cocoa producer for several years, and that is precisely why in the 80s and 90s it's experienced all the social and political problems, and with the eradication that is a state policy. In response came alternative development. They entered the projects with the same farmers, where they proposed to stop growing coca and offer them other alternative products such as coffee and cocoa. Although these products were already produced here, but the farmers, knowing the high price of cocoa, decided to cultivate it.
Trimestrales y café es ingreso anual, no, y por todo ello es que
this generated that the farmers became accustomed to obtain quick and easy income.
No, pero con todo el proceso de erradicación que ingresó esto del desarrollo alternativo,
with the whole process of settlement that generated the alternative development, they opted for this product. In addition, the prices began to rise, and now there are 3 managements that are encouraging production.
Porque si hiciéramos monoproductivo, esto no abastecía al agricultor en su economía.
And productive diversification. Because if we are doing monoproductive, this did not supply agriculture and its economy. We had to diversify production in coffee, cocoa, fish farms. Apart from developing tourism, processing, and value-added products, and through this show, the farmer that coffee is profitable, that products are profitable.
Actividades pequeñas que sean
with projects, small activities that are of quick impact for them, and they obtain that product and can satisfy the needs of the families. The change has been occurring, and currently we find that the price of cocoa is low. Not that the arroba is 15 and 16 soles, while coffee per kilo is at 16-17 soles. Everyone has practically abandoned the cultivation of coca and are 100% focused on growing coffee.
Los productos que nosotros llevamos.
The products that we process start in the plots.
Esto se trabaja inicialmente en las parcelas, ¿no? Las parcelas que lo desarrolla el productor.
Developed by the producer, which involves all agronomic processes in order to reach the harvest stage.
Etapa de cosecha.
A inicios de 2019.
At the beginning of 2019, an agricultural diagnosis was made at the level of the Monzón Valley, which had the results that the major product that predominated in Monzón Valley was coffee,
el 80% café y cacao,
80% coffee and cocoa. The other products were in what is 20%.
Y es debido a todo ello, en ese momento se observaba.
Because all of this at that time, we observed low coffee prices. At that time, it was 5 soles, $5.50 per kilo of coffee.
Dijimos, ¿qué se puede hacer?
When we started the analysis, we said what could be done so that coffee could have a differentiated price. Since Monzón is purely a coffee grower, 80% of its coffees of its production is based on coffee. This is how we coordinated, and the idea was born to carry out a contest of special coffees from the Monzón Valley.
Y debido a ello, en todo ese concurso,
Because of this, in all these contests, we go through the whole evaluation process: physical, sensory, organoleptic, in the laboratory and everything to know the quality and points in rate of the coffee. The need was born to have a laboratory, a plant, to carry out this analysis in the laboratory and give an adequate result to the coffee grower of the quality and profiles of the coffee that can be gathered.
El pergamino es que llega a la planta.
In dry beans, in parchment, is that the plant arrives. We take it to work according to what the producer requires.
En el área de recepción registramos nosotros los datos.
We register the data in the reception area. This data refers to the name of the producer who develops the product, the altitude of the location of the plot,
De la ubicación de la parcela, las condiciones
the conditions he develops, the variety he works with,
qué tipo de
what type of product he wants us to generate here in plants. If he wants ground roasted coffee or simply roasted coffee.
una vez que teníamos la planta en sí,
Once we had the plant itself, we realized that we did not have the trained personnel
para, trabajar.
to work in it. We coordinated with the institutions that we articulated in this topic.
Instituciones que articulamos en este tema y ahí fue el proyecto Alianza Café que ingresa.
It is there when the Alianza Café project enters. Since it has specialists in its project, an agreement was signed so that it can train the personnel that we have in what is coffee quality.
Es así ya en 2020 hacemos.
This is how in 2020 we hold the second contest of specialty coffees. We carry out the process of sensory evaluation of coffee.
De café. No se tiene en todos los laboratorios.
We hold a great auction. We call all the buyers to come here.
Y se convoca a todos los compradores que vinieron aquí, contactarles.
Contact is made directly with the coffee grower without any intermediary, so that they receive differentiated prices and with a basic profile where it says my coffee. In physical yield is so much. In a cup points is so much. Its flavor, smell, fragrance in such. In that way, we have been able to raise prices.
De que estaban 5 soles, 6 soles.
Since it was at 5, 6 soles in the auctions, they have taken 8, 10, 12, 15, depending that they were up to 85 points in cups, leaving in prices of 21 soles.
registrando para nosotros tener.
These are data that we are recording and have a traceability of the product that we are receiving in the plant.
Posterior a ello, llevamos a lo que es el empleo
After that, we take the product to the threshing machine to remove the husk.
de trillado para nosotros quitarle la cascarilla o el pergamino. Posterior a ello se lleva el proceso de seleccionado.
Then it is taken to the process of selected. Once selected with a machine, we go to what refers to the manual selection in order to extract the defective grains.
Y esto ya bien selecto lo llevamos a lo que refiere.
Once we have the bean that fulfills the conditions, it is taken to the roasting. Once roasted, where we work with a specialist in the subject,
Especialista en el tema, puesto que en ese punto podemos perder.
at that point, we can lose or gain attributes of the coffee, generated if we pass to what refers to the grinding.
Al molido, ¿no? En el molido también va a depender mucho de
In the grinding, we also depend a lot on what type of grinding the producer has requested. The great majority of the producers request that they be packaged in 250-gram bags.
solicitan pues que se les empaque en bolsas de 250 gramos, ¿no? Estas ya salen identificadas.
These are already identified with a brand that the producer has determined, that has worked on it and is ready for the market.
Ofrecer al mercado.
Esto es una planta procesadora de café.
This is a coffee processing plant, and at the same time, it is a municipal school.
Los caficultores brindar
As a plant, what we do is to provide all the service of maquilado to coffee growers to deliver a final product ground, packaged for them to take it to the market and to be offered at other prices with all the characteristics of their coffee. As a school, what we do is purely formative, training, reinforcement of their knowledge, and a course of basic, intermediate and advanced cupping.
educación básica, intermedia y avanzada, más o menos pues nos dura, o sea, al año hacemos 2.
We have 2 promotions per year.
Mi nombre es Juan Carlos Balcázar Cárdenas, soy
My
ingeniero
name is
agrónomo
Juan
y
Carlos
catador
Balcazar
couldn.
Cardenas. I am an agronomist engineer.
Bueno, vamos a ver en este momento una breve cata de los cafés del Monzón.
We are going to see at this moment a brief tasting of the coffees of Monzón. We begin by smelling the fragrances in the coffee. We have 5 samples from a single producer, which will allow us to determine all the fragrances, the aroma and all the positive attributes of the coffee that exists in the Monzón Valley.
Este Valle del Monzón.
In this coffee, we feel flavors of chocolate, vanilla, caramel.
Muy acaramelados. En la muestra número 2,
In the second sample, we find fruity flavors and smells of panela and caramel.
todo lo que son las panelas y los caramelos.
For the third sample, we find floral and fruity notes that exist in the valley. All this information is captured in the SCA card.
Es una ficha de catación que utilizamos la ficha del SCA.
Which we use to standardize criteria with other tasters at the local, national and international levels.
Una vez que ya determinamos la fragancia,
Once we have determined the fragrance, we begin to add the boiled water, which should be at a temperature of 92 to 95 degrees. From the moment we begin to add the boiled water,
empezamos a tomar el tiempo y a cronometrar.
we begin to time how long the hot water can act with a coffee and be able to extract organoleptic properties that the coffee has.
Hay que tener mucho en cuenta el tiempo.
The time should be taken into account since we cannot exceed 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, we'll begin to do what is called the breaking of the cup,
Taza, donde también vamos a aprovechar
where we will also take advantage of the explosion of the crust of the coffee to be able to determine the aroma. At this stage, we are going to begin to determine the aromas that exist so that together with the fragrance, we can give a note and at the same time a general description.
acá, al haber agregado el agua, ya encontramos
When the water is added, we already find how these candies start to become more pronounced and sugary.
sentimos
In the second sample, we feel that the vanilla aromas begin to be more accentuated. And finally, in the third sample, the florals begin to appear like jasmine, like the coffee flower, which exists a lot here in the Monzón Valley.
con la labor de rompimiento de taza.
After 4 minutes, we begin with the work of breaking the cup, which consists of moving the crust and waiting for this crust to begin to make an explosion, to begin to gain the vapors that will help me to determine those aromas, so that at the end we give the exact note that corresponds to each sample. Once we make the breaking of the cup, we proceed to do the cleaning and thus prepare the coffee samples, which are apt to begin with the work of the absorption of the coffee.
Es importante hacer esta labor
It is important to do this work, as its name indicates it is cup cleaning. It allows us to remove some residues that remain inside the cup, so that at the moment of performing the absorption of the coffee, it does not bother us or produce any type of accident.
o poder producir algún tipo de accidente. Tenemos hasta 8 minutos
We have up to 8 minutes to begin the work of the absorption of the coffee.
absorción del café. Ahorita vamos con
Right now we have 8 minutes 20. The average would be for the valley of 8 to 10 minutes.
Siempre hay que trabajar.
It is always necessary to work rinsing the spoons to avoid contamination between one sample and another. Sometimes from one cup to another, we can possibly find some defects, and in this way we are avoiding contamination. After the 9 minutes, we are going to start our tasting.
A realizar nuestra catación. Lo primero que vamos a buscar son los sabores.
The first thing we are going to look for are the flavors, then the residual flavor, the acidity, the body, the balance, and at the end we are going to give the score of the cuppa, so that the adding to all the 10 attributes, which are included uniformity, clean cup in use, gives us a note of the coffee.
Estos son los cafés que existen.
These are part of the coffees that exist in the Monzón Valley.
Son parte de los cafés que existen en el Valle del Monzón. Y todo esto lo vamos expresando ya en nuestras fichas.
And we are going to express all of this in these CSA cards in order to be able to give a note where the characteristics that we had already talked about previously will be given.
Estas actividades lo venimos realizando.
We have been carrying out these activities together with the producer of the Valley Zone. There are many producers that need to know how their quality is in order to be able to commercialize both with small roastering of the zone at a national level. Also part of the work that we have been carrying out is the training of tasters, children of producers, coffee producers, technicians of the zone, interested in knowing a little more about coffee in the Alianza Cafe Agreement. Municipal Coffee School, we have been carrying out cupping courses at a basic, intermediate and advanced level,
El cual nos va a permitir
which will allow us to have here in the valley many trained people that master this topic and they can improve the quality of their product.
Sean bienvenidos a la planta procesadora de...
Welcome to the Chiapiaco processing plant. My name is Yomira Atencia. I'm in charge of the plant here.
aquí de la planta. En estos momentos es
I'm going to prepare a cappuccino for you to taste.
para que puedan degustar. Con el café que trabajamos es de un productor de aquí del valle.
The coffee that we work with is from a producer here in the valley. It is from the type of guacay. It is a blend between the varieties of Caturra, Bourbon, and Costa Rica. To make the cappuccino, we weigh it, 18 grams of coffee.
Puede variar según...
In this case, it can vary according to the type of roasting or the roasting time that our coffee has.
Y lo que hacemos es...
And what we do is level it with a filter holder. We level it with the help of the tamper we press the coffee.
presionar el café, pasamos a la máquina expresera.
We pass to the espresso machine. What we do is purge the machine. Once we have purged, we put our filter holder with the coffee.
E iniciamos la extracción del café.
And we start the extraction of the coffee.
En este caso,
In this case, I only work with 20 seconds of extraction.
y ya tenemos nuestro expreso.
And we already have our espresso. We finish with the coffee and we start with the milk.
La leche. Una vez que hemos generado el remolino,
Once we have generated with a swirl, we are going to see the creaminess that is forming in the milk. That is going to help us at the moment of making the designs in our cup,
diseños en nuestra taza y al final
and at the end, to give brightness to the milk, we give it a few turns
y unos golpecitos para
and a few taps to eliminate the bubbles that have remained. Then we take our espresso, we make a few turns and start pouring our milk to the coffee.
e iniciamos vertiendo nuestra leche, el café, hacemos una mezcla homogénea.
We make a homogeneous mixture. When the milk is already in the third part of our cup,
Hacemos los diseños
we make the design we want and we go to serve.
y pasamos a servir. Y ya tenemos el cappuccino.
We already have the cappuccino.
A nosotros nos da esa satisfacción de
It gives us the satisfaction that we are guiding young people to an enterprise
que son netamente café.
who are purely coffee growers, children of coffee growers. They no longer sell their coffee beans, others sell it already processed, and others sell it directly to their enterprise in their business. They obtain greater profitability with this added value that is given to them.
Obtienen mayor rentabilidad, ¿no? Con ese valor agregado que se le da.
Mi nombre es Vilma Cipriano Justo.
My name is Vilma Capriano Justo. I live in the Monzón Valley. I am an artisan from the Monzón Valley.
De trabajos.
We make works with coffee beans.
Somos 5 madres de acá de Monzón que estamos sin esto.
We are 5 mothers from here in Monzón. We belong to the group of artisans from the Monzón Valley. A year ago we learned how to make crafts with coffee.
Son 1 año. Estamos en esto prácticas, ¿no? Haciendo las gorras. Nos enseña prácticamente las señoritas que vienen.
Some ladies come to Monzón and they train us.
El café que ya nos...
We make the handicrafts with the coffee beans that we consider do not meet the conditions for sale. From this, we can choose the smaller beans or larger beans. Thank God this work helps us economically. Some time ago, we mothers did not have enough economic resources.
Sí, por decir a veces que hay madres que no teníamos, no, nadie.
Today, thank God, tourism is not scarce. When there is a fair in Monzón, we exhibit our work. We take care of the transportation of our work at the time of exhibiting.
Vamos a la feria y cuando hay feria en Monzón también lo llevamos, ¿no? Echando una caja, lo cuidamos bastante por nuestros trabajos.
I extend the invitation to all those people who are watching us.
También invitamos, ¿no? A la gente, ¿verdad? Conozcan nuestros trabajos, el Valle de Monzón, para que pueda sustentar a nuestra familia, ¿no?
Esto de los concursos de cafés especiales también.
The contents of specialty coffees will give results in our coffee growers. When they see the incentive and the high value that the contestants receive here at the auction, they will opt to improve their entire coffee production process.
Y han optado por mejorar todo su proceso productivo de café, también para que participen y reciban el mismo incentivo. Entonces,
so that they can participate and receive the same incentive. Therefore, in this way, we are improving the culture of coffee cultivation in quality, speciality. As we always say, it is not about quantity. I can have 10, 20 hectares, but it is not about that. It is about quality. That my coffee is well cared for, that it is given all the necessary agronomic process, and that the result is a good product that is profitable in the market.